Welcome back to another video. I just thought I would show a bit more work I've been doing on the Passat, Project Passat. I've been having a few issues with this car lately with lack of power. Sometimes it would be fine, no problem. Next minute it would die, kind of like the turbo would cut. And I'll just switch the camera. At the same, the engine management light's been coming on. Is to show if you start giving these symptoms, you get all the doom and gloom saying, oh, you've got a turbo gone and all the rest of it. But first, you've got to start your diagnosis off from the simple things and work your way up to the expensive. So I know the boost pipes on this car are fine, they've been changed, it's recently had injectors done, all that kind of stuff, and the turbo is pretty healthy, there's no oil passing through the seals. And a few weeks ago, while I had it up on the lift, I took the main, when I was changing the pipes, I checked for free play in the main turbo shaft and it's perfectly fine. So first things you do nowadays with modern cars is you plug the computer. So I plugged the computer in, I'll just show you what codes came up. These are the codes that came. Ignore the fuel temperature one, because while the oil filter was getting changed a couple of weeks ago, you've got to disconnect a whole load of pipes on these cars to get to them, and I know that's exactly what that is, so that will be gone when the codes are clear. But this next one, basically it's down for supercharger, but it's a turbocharger, wastegate solenoid A. First things first with these cars is you've got a variable vane turbo. What that means is you've got a separate little vacuum valve which controls the amount of boost that the turbo is meant to give at any one time. Like old-fashioned turbos used to work on a spring-based system, which once a certain pressure was reached, that would allow the wastegate to open and close. New modern cars have got what you call like a variable vane turbo. So what it means is if you're in a low gear, like you see, like you're labouring the engine, you know, like if you're going up a hill, it'll be able to give like full turbo. It will be able to give like full turbo boost at any given time, you know, like to help you up a hill if it's under a lot of load when you're towing, things like that. So that's how variable vane turbos work, and you'll hear that when the vanes stick, the turbos start to play up. And this is another thing people were mentioning about this car, about the vanes will be stuck. But I'll go to another trick with that, which you can do, which I did on me. I'm annoyed, I did it on my Mondeo a few months ago, where what you do is basically you take off the exhaust side of the so obviously you don't take the intake side of the turbo off, you take off the exhaust manifold off the back of the turbo where it goes down at into the cat, and all you do is you spray a little bit of Mr. Muscle, believe it or not, Mr. Muscle oven cleaner, and you spray it onto that side of the turbo, and it frees up all the little, they just look like little propeller shafts. It's hard to explain what they're like. They're just like movable blades on the back end of the turbo which clog with soot from the exhaust. But anyways, I've done that on this car as well, and I know it wasn't that. So there's a few things to look at. You need to look at the vacuum system. So I'm just going to go out now. I'll just quickly pause it and go out to the engine bay. So welcome back at the front here. So what it is obviously the first thing you do on these, a lot of these newer cars have electronic sensors on the turbos, but again, another reason why I like the PD engine, the BKP, is you don't have none of the electronic stuff. It's all nice old-fashioned vacuum lines, but at the same time you get all the same power, if not better, than the modern equivalent, the CR engines. So first things you go to is this. It's called the N75 valve, the boost control. This basically works as a bleed system to the vacuum, basically. So when the turbo requires full boost, this can provide the turbo with full boost even at low speeds, as I was mentioning before. So as you can see, I've changed this, but what I did was I did a quick test on the old one, and it wasn't holding the pressure. I think something had cracked on the casing or something that was allowing pressure to escape. But anyways, you need to check all of these lines. This was the one here, it goes down, and there's another two from the bottom of it which work their way down the back of the turbo. Clearly I did all this up on the lift, and just check these sometimes rub together and they get little holes in. They just basically have a low pressure vacuum inside of them, but it doesn't take much for them to split or to come off. So I've checked them all the way down to the turbo. You use like a vacuum gauge on them. What you do is all I did is I just disconnected this one, attached it to that, and you pump it up to a low pressure, and you lock it in place, and you monitor if the gauge dropped, and this one didn't, which indicated no leaks. So what we did was I'll jump back in the car and I'll explain a little bit better. I've had to come back inside the car because I'm expecting customers coming, so I'll end off getting stopped. So yeah, back to the code. That again, the code was all pointing towards the wastegate control solenoid. That's what that is. But like I've said, a lot of people would just see this code, boom, go and buy one, put it on, and find the car still got the problem due to a turbo fault, due to just a simple thing like those pipes being split, you know, and losing vacuum. So don't always, I know everybody can get these cheap code readers now and think that they're, like that's the problem. Don't just jump in with 2 feet and buy stuff if you can at all avoid it. So yeah, so what I first of all did was I tested it. Like I mentioned, it was actually the valve itself not holding pressure. I don't know if it's just cracked or something like that. So I'll just go and get that now, and I'll show you what it actually looks like off the car. I've just been and getting the old part. So as you can see, again, you might get sick of hearing us go on, only get original equipment stuff. As in, either go to the dealership and get the dealer parts, but I agree they are crazy money, or get exactly what you buy from the dealers. Now take a look at this, right? This box you can see here, it says Pierberg. And you can see the number there, 7 point blah 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 blah. This is the old unit that came off. Sorry I didn't get round to videoing this, doing it. It's only a 5-minute job. It's fiddly down the back of the engine, and it's not really easy to focus, to get the camera in. So as you can see, there's the old part. I don't know if something's cracked around the bottom or something, but it wasn't holding pressure. But if you look on that Volkswagen and Audi sign there, you can see the Volkswagen number underneath, 1KO. But what does that say the next line down? 7.0086. As you can see there, the N2 numbers are different, 02, because it's been modified. So this from the dealership probably costs £60-70 or more. You get this for about £40, and there you go. It's exactly the same part, same number. So when I go on my videos about using TRW arms, Lemforder, the same as what you get from the dealers, MAN and Bosch filters and things like that, this is what I'm kind of showing you. You go to the dealership and you get exactly the same parts as them. You've just got to shop around for them. This was from Euro Car Parts. Another top tip when you're buying anything from Euro Car Parts, if the end number is 0, you know it's the best quality they've got available. If it ends with a 1, it doesn't apply to everything, but most stuff, if it ends with a 1 or a different number, it's generally the aftermarket stuff. So just a little tip for your car parts is try and get it with, if you're buying like a filter, like some of the filters are different because there's MAN and Bosch and they're all OE, but it's mainly parts like these, or like if you're buying a starter motor or something like that, make sure it ends with a 0 and you're getting the best possible quality. So yeah, I swapped over this. I'll go and show you the new unit in place. As you can see, that's it down there. A couple of pipes on Pierberg, plugged it in. What we're going to do now, the ignition's on, and we've got the scanner connected. Let's go back. There was it. Trying to work what I'm doing here. Clear codes. Yes. Yes. No faults detected. We'll cycle the ignition. Switch it off. Key out. Back on again. Key in. Start. I know the light was off before, but that's because the actual part was replaced. So that's it's running there now. Ignition back on. Trouble codes. No faults detected. I have had the car for a run and they don't come back on. So yeah, I just thought I'd do a quick little video, a simple diagnostic test, but mainly just to highlight the importance of not, and like I've mentioned, everybody's got their own little code readers you can get for like a £5 off eBay now. Don't just jump in with 2 feet and look at a code, and just because the code says something, like if it says EGR or if it says boost control, you don't need to just jump in with 2 feet and go and start changing stuff. You've got to do a small level of investigation like I did, checking the vacuum pipes, pressurizing the pipe system to check for any leaks, and doing anything that's associated, like associated things with control and boost is intercooler pipes, even something daft on this car, you've got a rocker box cover breather that popped off. That's why that code actually was still on. That popped off a few weeks ago from when the injectors were done, and that causes a boost fault because it's letting unmonitored air in and out of the system. So yeah, that's a little thing. Don't just, if you've got a friend who comes round with a scanner and they scan it and you start, you know, and they go, oh yeah, it says MAF sensor, so let's just pay £100 for a MAF sensor. You put it on and you haven't found out you haven't fixed the fault. So just always remember, do a bit of investigation work before. The old saying, what the mechanics use is firing the parts cannon in cars. I never try to do that with people. You know, I always let them know you sometimes can't get exact answers. I don't class myself as a top-end diagnostic tester and all that kind of thing, but I know my basic way around electronics and how they work. So yeah, if you like to see this kind of video, I can arrange a few more. It's just a bit difficult when we're busy trying to do this kind of thing, when I've got people coming in and out and wondering what I'm doing with a phone and they're just walking in the middle of a video and stuff. So yeah, if you like this kind of content, like and subscribe, leave a comment below, and I'll see you next time. Bye.